While many know that the military personnel, as in people stationed at Fort Meade, will deploy around the world depending on where they're needed, some might not realize the same holds true for the four-legged service members also stationed at Fort Meade. The military working dogs at Fort Meade have their own kennels, which they do sleep in at night. The building housing the kennels offers air conditioning and heating, with fenced-in areas outside for training and play. The building also has workspaces for the dogs' handlers. Some of these military working dogs, like their handlers, are also combat veterans. We saw one dog that had just returned from Afghanistan, another from Iraq, and another about to be deployed.
I was a specialized search dog handler, which means my dog is basically not trained in patrol or aggression training. It means it's trained in just detection only. The difference on that capability is she was able to work 300 meters away from me. So she would be far out in distance, and the reason we don't train them in the patrol is so that the dog doesn't see an animal or something else and goes to attack. She would be able to locate IEDs from 300 meters away or alert to it that allowed us to be safe distance from any threats that we find. We deployed with Special Forces, and my main mission is to get us from point A to point B safely so that they can do their job.
But there are also much closer missions geographically these dogs and their handlers will respond to.
They'll support U.S. Secret Service for the POTUS and the VPOTUS. They also go on terror missions, support Army Recruiting Command, so building our nation's army. And they might be asked to go to schools, they might go to like law enforcement days, but they don't just stay here. They are always being tasked to go out and provide mission support to other agencies.
We had the opportunity to meet AXA.
She's 6 years old. She's purchased probably from overseas by the U.S. government, and we bring her to Lackland Air Force Base, where she's trained in detection and patrol work in 120 days. The U.S. Air Force is the executive agent of all the working dogs, so we provide instructors and trainers from all branches of service, and that's how we pay our bill to get the dogs. So we provide the instructors and the trainers, and then say we need 50 to 20 dogs, that's how we'll get those dogs.
And how many dogs do you have here at Fort Meade?
I cannot say that.
And what are they trained in?
So they're trained in explosives, drugs, and they all have the patrol capability, which is the biting, the searching, the tracking. They're able to do all those things for the DoD.
And what's normal work time for these dogs? How many years do they normally work for?
So we try to start retiring them out about 9 to 10 years. So the dogs will tell us when it's time to retire. They are one rank higher than the handler, and that is a tradition from Vietnam. So, for instance, AXA would be a sergeant, while Rogers is a specialist.
All right, how does that make you feel?
It's fine. I mean, they're loyal to you. You know, I love working with them, but it doesn't bother me one bit.
Rogers, bringing the dog team back up here.
Gunfire, gunfire, gunfire.
10 years old, the dogs have the opportunity to go be pets. Go home, don't work for a con, don't work for anything, get on a couch and get fat. What we do see is for my dogs here locally, those dogs will belong to me, which I'll end up offering to the handlers first. So they get the first choice of the dogs. If for some reason the handlers can't take the dogs, then we open them up to the public, and we're trying to find the best fit for those dogs.
And where does the public find out about this?
So the public, if they want to adopt dogs, Lackland Air Force Base has an adoption program there where you can adopt dogs that maybe didn't make it through training. She's right now she's home on a couch. She's retired, but we deploy.
On your couch?
Yes. Well, she has more rights to my family than I do. She's home. She's a black Labrador, so she's about 11 years old now.
And the dog's name?
Miley.
Miley. So Miley has saved how many lives, if you had to guess?
I couldn't tell you how many lives. So she's responsible for our team, but she has located probably about 15 IEDs, a bunch of weapons caches. So she's done a lot.
And she deserves retirement right now.
Oh yeah, now she doesn't work for anything. So for some dogs, you can tell when a dog's ready to retire.
Right.
This dog's not ready to retire. So she looks at me every morning, and I think she says a few bad words when I leave her at home.
Donna Cole, WNAV News.